Good day and welcome to our presentation today. We'll be discussing our comic which focuses on design and memory. My name is Lauren and I'm here joined with
Andiswa. So for the introduction, we look at comic 1. In this comic, basically, we have an overview of what exactly we're tackling in this comic, which is basically focusing on Alexander McQueen's Spring 1997 collection, which challenges the notion of narcissism in fashion by emphasizing the body and the proportions in both men and women's clothing. In this comic, we examine the concept of narcissism and how it relates to the parallels and differences between Freud, Kernberg, and McQueen in terms of self-awareness.
And now moving on to comic 2. So comic 2 focuses on Freud's interpretation of narcissism. So Freud discusses narcissism and how individuals, we all have like an ego ideal. And this ego ideal is basically formulated from our childhood. It starts off from there. But the ego ideal is like a mental representation and repression of a narcissistic libido. So as an individual, we each have our beliefs and our morals and cultures that basically tell us how we should behave. So we, like as an individual, you may suppress these feelings, these libidinal instinctual feelings that one may have based off of these beliefs. And these beliefs that you may have may not be accepted by another. So this is where the ego ideal comes from. And you start to, I guess, focus on trying to redeem yourself from this, because you have to lose this type of mentality that you're not superior to others. So looking at comic 3, Kernberg discusses his point of view on narcissism. So Kernberg mentions 3 different types of narcissism that he believes in, and there's a specific range of narcissism, which is normal narcissism, which is something that we've had like as infants and you lose it with time, and pathological narcissism, which is, there are 3 different points, but we'll only like just touch on a bit of what he says. So with the pathological narcissism, he talks about how as individuals the person will want to regress to their infantile goals that they would have as a child, and wanting to base their present with that type of self. So Freud, the difference between Freud and Kernberg is that Freud talks about the ego as a lot more, and Kernberg talks about self-esteem and how self-esteem regulation plays a big role in your ego and how you act as a person. So Kernberg does talk a bit about what Freud says, which is what will be discussed in comic 4.
In comic 4, we look at the literature review comparing the 2 theories with each other. We learn that according to Freud, as we grow, we choose to suppress certain emotions and behaviors. He further explains that this cause of suppression in his terms proceeds from the self-respect of the ego. He further on goes to explain that why one would suppress these feelings and emotions is because of the rejection they fear of getting from others. Kernberg then further explains that the self is regarded as a supporting structure of the ego, reflecting a combination of self-representation that develops through one's synergy with other individuals. This means that your ego would be boosted by the interactions you would have with other people. This is in difference to what Freud has mentioned. Kernberg also argues that in Freud's theory, he did not discuss the narcissism as a factor or a character of pathology, and he only referred to it as one type of character pathology that is linked to narcissism. The 2 theories have confirmed that the ideal ego is controlled by the infantile ego. In comic 5, we explore the visual analysis of the signifiers and signified. In the first comment, we have the signifiers of self-love, body language, and approval. Alexander McQueen explores or portrays self-love by making this garment that compels the wearer to possess confidence in it. The suit in its nature symbolizes empowerment. The signifier of the second garment would be non-sexual activities, infantile narcissism, and fabrication. The fabric would symbolize or signify sex appeal. So one would wear this garment with innocent intentions, but subliminally it reveals their suppressed ego. Alexander McQueen in his work has a strong sense of identity. This is proven by the standard suit trouser that he has tailored to fit just below the waist to emphasize the proportions of the body, basically emphasizing on the upper body, and that is what is exposed. So this makes the garment sexy and eye-catching, and yet there is no sexual activity that is required. And this is where we get that there is non-sexual activities.
So looking at comic 6, previously we mentioned that Alexandra McQueen emphasizes the body and proportions in both women's wear and clothing wear and menswear. So looking at the two images of the model, we can see this take place of both the sex appeal in both the man and the woman, and these images link to the theories discussed by Freud and Kernberg, because both models today both have this sense of confidence within them. And like just looking at the model's body language, the female model, she's holding her blazer, she seems confident in what she's wearing, but at the same time, like it could be also a sense of wanting to cover up, because you may still have that sense of wanting to receive approval from others, but at the same time she still feels confident in what she's wearing because she is pleased and gratified by what she wears, and she doesn't care about what other people think about her.
Okay, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that with this you have learned something.